In this review, I'm going to be covering this brand new Pioneer. This is their in-double DIN size Bluetooth receiver, model FH-X700BT. Look at this disco show. I just start feeling like in the club, roll a dub, biddy doo, biddy doo. Look at that thing. That thing is pretty wild looking. Alright, let's try to be serious. Here's what comes in the box. You get the CD VM1 built-in hands-free microphone. You got yourself the manual. You have the ISO mounting hardware screws, and they give you this credit card remote control. Pretty typical of Pioneers of late years. You get this ultra colorful box to encase this disco show. As far as the size of this unit is concerned, I like to talk about that. It's 7 inches in width entirely, 4 inches in height, 6 1/4 inch in depth. I'm going to turn this unit around. I'm going to show you what's to expect in the back. Right over here, not much to see. You have a 16-pin power speaker harness. You have the analog antenna input on the left side, and over here you have 2 sets of preamp outputs. By default, they're front and rear preamp outputs, or you can select the rear to a subwoofer, so you could have front and subwoofer. And if you're in a pinch and you only have a small budget to work with, you can use a wide splitter on the front and have that feed your front and rear, and then have the dedicated subwoofer output and still maintain an independent subwoofer volume control. How's that for a mouthful? Now, since this unit is so entertaining to look at, it just in itself, just to look at this is like worth watching the video, I think. I'm just going to do some voiceover so that way you can kind of get an idea. Maybe this unit's demo mode will actually cover something I'll miss. Unlikely, but what the heck. So this unit is a CD receiver. It does have a built-in AM/FM tuner. It has 18 presets on FM, 6 on AM, like pretty much every radio in existence. Built-in MOSFET amp. It has 14 watts RMS. And it's nice that they actually rate it as 14 watts RMS, because for so many years they've always said 15 watts, you know, peak output, which is of course total BS. This unit will put out 14 watts RMS, and you know, that's a good thing, because I've seen the power harness, and I tell you, on these later model Pioneer single DIN radios, the wire, they are so cheap. And I was looking at the wires, I'm like, man, these are like barely even like 22 gauge cables. I mean, whatever happened to the wire, you know? So moving along, besides the MOSFET power on the amp, because I got hung up there for some reason, it has built-in Bluetooth. That's pretty much the staple for this unit. That's a big thing for hands-free calling, as well as audio streaming from your phone of your choosing, whether it be Android or iPhone, regardless of the model make of it. MIXTRAX, which is a DJ-inspired AV experience, which works with compatible devices, which is just about everything by this point with Pioneer. It'll play a CD, CDR, RWs, MP3, NWMA, which is Windows Media Files. It has Pandora through the iPhone directly, or through the USB. It does not make a difference. When you're using Androids with Pioneers, as of this year anyway, it requires that USB connection. It has that color illumination, as you can clearly see, with separate controls of display and buttons. It is of true double DIN, as I showed you. It's a 4 inch in height. It has a remote control, as I showed you. It has the ASR feature, which is Advanced Sound Retriever in English. What that means is it improves the sound quality from compressed music files, which is so inherent of MP3s and WMAs and stuff, of, you know, of the days we live in, and how music is put onto files. It has a 5-band EQ with 7 preset tone settings, which are of course useless because they're the Pioneer, like jazz, pop, hip hop, reggae, that kind of stuff. But at least it has something like that. And it has 3-level loudness feature, which is for low, mid, and high frequencies. It can emphasize any one of the 3. It has a low pass and a high pass filter, so that way if you're just using it with a 4-channel amplifier, you can set high pass filter and block out like 80 hertz, 50 hertz, whatever the case may be. Or if you're using it as a 2-channel on your highs and having the rear channel run full range and having a subwoofer, you can have a low pass filter on the subsonic as well, which will go anywhere from 120 hertz down to 60 hertz. And anywhere in between, there's a few settings. I believe it's 80 and 100 and then 120. So there's 4 settings, I believe, in total. Built-in Ipod Control through the USB, which is located right here in the front of the face. Can't miss that. And I'm sorry if I become a little comedic about this radio. It's just so bright. I mean, wow. I mean, look at that thing. And they are proud of their 200,000 colors, boy. It's like, bam, right? So we got the Ipod Control, no adapter required, but you can use an optional cable, such as what I'm using, which is nothing more than this. I'll show you. It's a sync cable. That's what I'm using. Or you could just let it run Bluetooth wireless. That's fine too. I mean, it's got this gigantic rotary knob, which is nice. This should, you know, appease younger people as well as older people, because I know older people love things with big knobs. You got these buttons right here to move, you know, from track to track. You have your search button right here, your source, the change mode from tuner, auxiliary input, Bluetooth audio, or iPod. I'm going to plug in my iPod. Let it recognize. Not too bad. There you go. So I'll tell you, it's got a very lively display. I'll give it that. It's very nice. Very customizable too. I mean, I'm not going to get totally, you know, crazy with showing you all the little gadgets of how you can and can't, because this video would go on for hours. But trust me, you can do a lot of customization to this unit. You can also, you know, have some good fun with it. You can customize this thing to look seemingly perfectly in your dashboard, with the exception of this gigantic chrome knob. I mean, unless your car has an excessive amount of chrome knobs in the dash, that might look a little bit different. But aside from that, this unit is pretty nice when it's on and even when it's off. Your call and hang up buttons located right here. All your presets located right here. Your display button is located right here. So if you wanted to get track information or the clock, it's right there. As I showed you the USB, very straightforward right here. It's a very simple to use radio, and it's even easier when you use a supplied remote control. You know, as far as these units go, I mean, I gotta say that this is a very cool unit, especially for the price. They give you an awful lot for your money. I mean, this thing literally costs almost half the price of just an add-on Bluetooth kit by today's standards in Pioneer. So with all this stuff going on these days, this unit has a lot to offer for the money. So give it a look. There's another model which I'll also put in the description, which is a sister to this particular unit. You might want to also consider giving that one a look, as well as all my other reviews that I've done on the 2014 Pioneer. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed the light show. That's my review on the FH-X700BT.